Are you tired of feeling disrespected by the people around you? Do you find yourself constantly trying to please others, only to have your efforts go unnoticed or dismissed? Perhaps at work, you feel like your contributions are undervalued, or in your personal life, you are constantly being taken for granted. You know that you deserve more, but every time you try to stand up for yourself, you feel like it's just too hard. You wonder if you'll ever be able to regain control over how others treat you. But here's the truth. You don't have to keep living this way. You have the power to transform how people treat you, and it starts with the choices you make today. This is not just about facing disrespect. It's about reclaiming your power. It's about finding your voice, setting boundaries, and stepping into the confidence that you may have been suppressing for far too long. It's about knowing your worth and refusing to accept anything less than the respect you deserve. By the end of this, you will not only understand why disrespect happens, but also how you can respond to it in ways that make you feel empowered, strong, and unstoppable. Over the next hour, we're going to explore 5 concrete ways to handle people who don't respect you. You'll learn how to recognize the signs of disrespect, how to shift your mindset, and how to set healthy boundaries. You'll also discover how to communicate assertively and stay calm under pressure, so you never have to feel powerless again. And most importantly, I will guide you through how to maintain your self-worth, even when others try to diminish it. So stick with me and let's get started. Let's first take a moment to really dive into the problem. What does disrespect look like? It can show up in many forms. Maybe it's someone constantly interrupting you, or perhaps it's someone belittling your ideas or making you feel like your opinion doesn't matter. It could even be something more subtle, like your efforts going unnoticed, your boundaries being ignored, or your feelings being dismissed. No matter what form it takes, the result is the same. You feel devalued, ignored, and frustrated. But here's the thing. Disrespect doesn't just hurt your feelings, it can also have lasting consequences if it's left unchecked. When we allow disrespect to go unaddressed, it can cause damage in so many areas of our lives. You start to question yourself, doubting your worth and your abilities. Over time, this leads to diminished confidence and even anxiety. You might become resentful or bitter, feeling like you're stuck in a situation that you can't escape. In some cases, it can even affect your career or personal relationships in ways you might not even recognize at first. And here's something I want you to really hear right now. You are not alone in this. I know that many of you reading this have been in situations where you felt disrespected, ignored, or undervalued. It can feel incredibly isolating, like you're the only one experiencing this. But trust me, there are countless people out there going through the same thing. And the first step to breaking free is acknowledging that this is happening and that you have the power to change it. The moment you decide to stand up for yourself, things start to shift. So let's talk about how to address this. First, you have to believe in your own value. This is the foundation of everything we're going to discuss today. When you value yourself, you will no longer tolerate disrespect. It's about knowing who you are and what you stand for, and not letting anyone take that away from you. It's about setting boundaries and being clear about what is and isn't acceptable. You don't have to tolerate bad behavior from anyone, whether they're a colleague, a friend, or a family member. One of the most important steps you can take in handling disrespect is to establish clear boundaries. Boundaries are the invisible lines that define what you will and will not accept in your relationships. Without boundaries, people may feel free to treat you however they please, often because they assume you won't push back. But when you set boundaries, you're sending a clear message that you are in control of your life and your interactions. For example, if a colleague keeps interrupting you in meetings, it's important to assertively let them know that you expect to be heard. A simple phrase like, "I'd appreciate it if you could let me finish before you respond," can go a long way in establishing your boundaries. It doesn't have to be confrontational or rude, it just has to be clear and respectful. When you start standing up for yourself in small ways like this, you'll begin to notice a shift. People will start to respect you more, because you are teaching them how to treat you. But I know what you're probably thinking. What if people get upset? What if they think I'm being too difficult? That's a valid concern, and it's something that many of us worry about when setting boundaries. But let me tell you something. If someone reacts negatively to you setting a boundary, that's a reflection of them, not you. It's a sign that they were benefiting from your lack of boundaries, and now that you're establishing them, they're uncomfortable. This discomfort is actually a good thing. It means you're starting to take control of the situation. Another key part of handling disrespect is learning to communicate assertively. Assertiveness is not about being aggressive or demanding. It's about expressing your thoughts, feelings, and needs in a direct and respectful way. When you're assertive, you stand firm in your beliefs without backing down or apologizing unnecessarily. Let's say you're in a conversation with someone who's belittling your ideas. Instead of becoming defensive or passive, try to calmly express your thoughts. For instance, you could say, "I understand that you may have a different perspective, but I believe my idea is worth considering for the following reasons." Assertiveness gives you the space to stand up for yourself without losing your composure. It's about having a voice and using it with confidence. But staying calm in the face of disrespect is often easier said than done. It's natural to feel upset or angry when someone disrespects you, and that emotional reaction can make it difficult to respond in a composed way. The key here is to pause and take a deep breath before reacting. It's a small but powerful practice that allows you to regain control over your emotions and respond in a way that reflects your true self. In moments of tension, your goal should be to respond, not react. If you find yourself in a situation where someone is being blatantly disrespectful, take a moment to breathe and remind yourself that you are in control. You don't have to match their energy. Instead, you can choose to stay calm, grounded, and focused on maintaining your boundaries. For example, if a person is raising their voice or speaking over you, calmly say, "I'd appreciate it if you would lower your voice and allow me to speak." This level of composure may surprise them, and it will certainly reinforce your sense of self-respect. Now, I know that none of this is easy. When you begin asserting yourself, you may face resistance. People might test your boundaries or try to push you into old patterns of behavior. But this is where your growth begins. Overcoming these obstacles is part of the process. You will undoubtedly face doubts and fears along the way. But remember that every time you stand firm in your worth, you are strengthening your ability to handle disrespect in the future. One thing to keep in mind as you continue this journey is that personal growth is not an overnight process. It takes time, patience, and practice. But the more you commit to standing up for yourself, the easier it will become. And as you start to implement these steps, you will start to see the results. You'll notice that people treat you with more respect, and you'll feel more confident in your ability to handle tough situations. Let's talk about how to maintain this momentum. Once you've begun setting boundaries and communicating assertively, it's important to stay consistent. The more you practice these habits, the more natural they will become. Eventually, responding to disrespect will feel like second nature. But it's also important to remember that self-respect is not just about what others do. It's also about how you treat yourself. Continue to reinforce your own worth by prioritizing self-care and celebrating your progress. And if you ever feel overwhelmed or discouraged, remember that this is a journey, not a destination. You will encounter setbacks, but those setbacks are simply opportunities to learn and grow stronger. Keep focusing on your goals, and keep reminding yourself that you are worthy of respect, no matter what others may say or do. So what can you do today to start changing the way people treat you? Think about one relationship or situation where you feel disrespected. Maybe it's a coworker who constantly undermines your contributions or a friend who takes advantage of your kindness. Choose one step from today's discussion, whether it's setting a boundary, communicating assertively, or staying calm in a difficult conversation, and put it into action. You have the power to change how you are treated. It starts with you, right now. So take a deep breath, and remember, you are enough. You deserve respect, and you are capable of standing up for yourself with grace and confidence. Your journey to greater self-respect begins today, and I believe in you every step of the way.